A shy, beautiful young artist named Shelly Nance was found motionless on her bed, drenched in blood, with 42 stab wounds, no sign of forced entry, no screams for help.
Over 40 times. In the back. I mean, this was brutal and this was savage.
The only thing left at the scene was a tiny blue rubber fragment, like a secret message. Who entered her room? And why were they so brutally violent? The deeper investigators dug, the more tangled everything became. Let's walk through how detectives fought to uncover the truth. The story begins in a small town called Italy, Texas, a quiet place with a population of fewer than 2,000 people. Shelly was born and raised there. She was born in 1989 into a big, warm family. Her parents, Cynthia and Sam Nance, and two older sisters. From early on, friends and relatives said Shelly had a gift. She was drawn to anything involving drawing.
She was very artistic, smart, non-athletic, did not like athletics. That was more me and her department.
Even as a child, she could recreate images with impressive skill, and her talent only grew. But she was also very shy, so shy that some would call her withdrawn. Most of the time, she preferred staying home, practicing, and refining her art.
Just very shy.
She was one that would sit in her room, read a book, play a video game.
Over time, Shelly blended her love of drawing with another passion, computers.
And she's like, well, I'm not that good. And the art teacher said, no, I think you are, Shelly.
She began expanding her horizons and gradually learned animation, inspired in part by her love for Japanese anime. Eventually, people started to notice her talent. In high school, a teacher suggested she enter a competition for young artists. Shelly hesitated and told her teacher she wasn't good enough, but the teacher convinced her to try.
That same piece of art they took and put in the national competition, and it won her 4th place there. So she got a total of $13,000 to a scholarship toward the Art Institute of Dallas.
Shelly enrolled in 2008. Naturally, her parents worried. Their shy daughter was moving to Dallas, the biggest city in Texas, to start an independent life. But those worries turned out to be unnecessary.
Just being around people that had her same objectives, and a lot of the boys, which have never really paid much attention to her in high school, noticed her in college because she knew her stuff.
This is what she wanted to do, and she wasn't homesick, and I said, okay.
In her first year, she adjusted quickly. She lived in the dorms, sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. One room was hers, the other belonged to her roommate, a girl her age named Ashley Alvera. Shelly made friends, and she even experienced her first romantic relationships. Everything seemed to be going well, until tragedy struck. On September 10, 2009, Shelly's parents, Cynthia and Sam, set off on the trip they had long dreamed of, visiting Yellowstone National Park.
Well, we always went on an annual vacation, and this will be the first vacation that we've taken without the kids.
While traveling, they texted their 3 daughters.
Cynthia was texting out on her phone, we're leaving Texas now, and she sent it to each one of the girls.
And I got a response from my oldest daughter, Rachel, and my middle daughter, Shauna, right away, like, have a good time, y'all be careful. But I never heard anything from Shelly.
Rachel and Shauna responded almost immediately. No word from Shelly. We thought, well, she's probably still asleep, because she didn't have class today. So that wasn't really unusual at the time. It wasn't until later in the evening that we thought something might be wrong, because we hadn't heard from her. And that wasn't like her at all.
It's torture.
She had a premonition that something was wrong, but what would happen to Shelly? She never goes anywhere. She stays in her room. She only goes out when she has to.
But by the next day, there was still no reply, and their concern began to grow.
So the next morning, when she still hadn't called, that's when we both got worried.
They contacted Shelly's school. A staff member checked whether Shelly had attended class that day. The answer was no. In fact, Shelly had also missed the class before that. The staff member managed to reach Ashley Alvera, Shelly's roommate. After your classes, please check on Shelly and have her call her parents. On the afternoon of September 11th, Ashley came home, opened Shelly's bedroom door, and immediately ran back out, screaming as she fled. Police were called to the scene. When officers arrived, they found Shelly lying on her bed in her room, the sheets soaked in blood. That wasn't surprising, because investigators later determined
Over 40 times. In the back. I mean, this was brutal and this was savage.
At first, detectives considered the usual theories, robbery or sexual assault, but both were quickly ruled out. Robbery didn't fit because there was simply nothing worth taking. Shelly didn't have many valuables, perhaps her computer, but it was still there. Sexual assault didn't match either. She was wearing her clothes and hadn't been left nude. Later, a medical examination confirmed Shelly was still a virgin. Even more shocking, there were no cuts on her hands or signs of a struggle, suggesting she didn't fight back against the stabbing. The killer had been careful not to leave evidence. No foreign blood, no fingerprints, no hair, no DNA from the attacker. They were skilled but not perfect. Under Shelly's hand, investigators found a tiny blue rubber fragment, most likely from a rubber glove the killer had been wearing. All of it suggested this wasn't a random attack. Whoever killed Shelly knew her and for some reason was intensely furious enough to stab her 42 times. Investigators checked the doors and windows and found no sign of a break-in. That meant either Shelly let the killer in herself, or the killer had a key. And besides Shelly, the only person with a key to the apartment was Ashley Alvera. Ashley was quickly brought in for questioning. She told detectives she was the one who discovered the murder after the school contacted her and sent her home to check on Shelly. Ashley said she knocked on Shelly's closed bedroom door, and when Shelly didn't respond, she stepped inside and experienced the most horrifying moment of her life.
I saw her feet, and she wasn't moving. So I turned on the lights and I said, "Hey, Shelly, are you okay?" She wasn't moving. So I went and I shook her in her bed.
Was she covered up?
Originally the blanket was on
So you
her.
shake her, put a blanket over her.
Yes, sir.
She don't move, she don't wake up. You pull the cover off of her, shake her again.
I saw the blood and I touched her arm and she was cold and
As soon as you seen that, what happened?
I yelled her name I don't know how many times.
The detective later said that during questioning,
She was upset. She was crying.
but in his impression, she didn't seem as devastated as someone who had just lost a close friend, even though Ashley insisted she and Shelly were friends. And there was another suspicious detail. Investigators determined that Shelly was killed on September 10th, sometime between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Her body was discovered on September 11th at around 2 p.m. That means Shelly's body had been lying in the apartment for more than a day, yet her roommate hadn't noticed anything. It sounds strange, but Ashley explained it this way. Shelly was extremely private and could sit for hours in her room at her computer without coming out. So going more than a day without seeing each other, even while living in the same apartment, wasn't unusual. But there was something even harder to explain. Police checked the shared bathroom used by both Shelly and Ashley, and they found blood on the sink, blood that appeared after Shelly was murdered. So had Ashley truly not noticed it by accident, or had she deliberately left that blood there? Detective Elsie used an old-school strategy, exaggerating the evidence to pressure Ashley into admitting whatever she might be hiding from investigators.
I don't see how you can miss that big blood right here on the sink. I don't see how you can miss that. I don't see how you can miss this big deal of blood right here on the bathtub. I don't see how you can miss it all on the trash can. How do you do that?
I didn't see a trash can, but I remember seeing the little spots of blood on the sink.
When did you see that?
When I was leaving for school.
When? What day?
Today.
And you still didn't even think to knock on the door.
No, sir.
To say, hey, Shell, you cut yourself, you hurt, you injured, you need something? That's weird, man.
I know it is. I'm telling you everything I know. I mean, Shelly was my roommate. She was my friend. She is my friend. We went to school together. There's no reason why I would harm her.
I really believe that something terrible happened between you and Shelly that you're not telling me. I need to know what happened. I have to have an explanation as to what happened. You're the only one that can tell me.
I know, and I'm telling you the truth.
Actually, I don't believe you, honey.
I know.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You got her in the stabbing, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I just need to know why you did it.
I did not kill her.
Yeah, you did. I can prove you did. Something made you snap.
I didn't hurt her. I'm looking you straight in the eye, sir.
Nobody else could have did it. Nobody else could have did it. Nobody. This looks terrible for you.
No, it does.
This looks terrible, terrible, terrible for you.
The detective put intense pressure on Ashley, maybe even too much. But it's understandable. This was a murder case, and hot cases are always easier to solve quickly. Still, Ashley didn't have a clear motive, and fixating on a single suspect wasn't reasonable. So detectives kept digging because besides Ashley, there was someone even more suspicious. Shelly's boyfriend, Nathan Schack. But calling him her boyfriend might be a bit of an exaggeration. Shelly referred to him that way. But after 2 months of dating, they hadn't even kissed. Nathan was shy and withdrawn too, just like Shelly. For both of them, this was their first relationship. Mostly they played video games, usually at Shelly's apartment. Police suspected Nathan for 2 reasons. First, he could have gotten into the apartment without forced entry. Shelly could have simply opened the door for him. Second, he may have had a motive, because Shelly's mother said Shelly had shared that she wanted to end the relationship. She didn't feel like he was someone she should be with. What kind of motive? Jealousy, rejection. Stories of someone being dumped and then killing the person they love aren't exactly rare.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah.
Shelly a virgin? To your knowledge? Y'all ever discuss sexual intercourse? Never. She's been in your bedroom before with a light off.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
We were sitting there playing video games.
Never tried anything sexual with her? She never tried anything sexual with you? You kiss her?
Oh, yeah.
You never kissed her. She's a girlfriend 2 months. You never kissed her. Why? It was weird.
It was my first girlfriend.
Nathan denied knowing anything about Shelly's plan to break up. On top of that, detectives noticed a few scratches or cuts on Nathan's body, which only increased their suspicion.
Alright, turn away. Okay, turn back around, look at me. How do you get these scrapes right here? Them scratches?
Oh, I usually scratch myself.
Police questioned Nathan's friends. No one knew Nathan better than his roommate. According to him, Nathan was obsessed with Shelly, constantly talking about her, and sometimes even following her when they weren't together. The roommate also said that on the day Shelly was killed, Nathan acted very strangely, depressed, even crying in his room. Before I went to sleep, I heard him crying in his room. What was he crying about? I knocked and asked, like, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I hear you crying," and he said, "No." But his face was red because when people cry, their face turns red. To find more evidence, detectives decided to search the apartment where Nathan lived. Nathan was confident he was innocent and didn't object at all. It turned out to be the right call. Police found a huge number of knives. There were even swords. When asked why he had so many bladed weapons, Nathan said he collected them. It was eerie. He seemed obsessed with knives, and Shelly had been killed with a knife. But the knives and swords were nothing compared to what they found next. In the bathroom, there was a bag stained with blood. That discovery immediately shifted the investigation. When detectives asked Nathan where the bag came from, he said he had never seen it before. Right then, Nathan's attitude changed completely. He demanded that the search stop and asked for a lawyer. Forensics confirmed that the blood on the bag in Nathan's apartment belonged to Shelly Nance. At that point, detectives believed they were finally on the right track. Whoever did this had to be able to access both Nathan's apartment and Shelly's apartment. All they needed was to break Nathan, but that wasn't easy. Nathan wouldn't confess, and once he had a lawyer, applying pressure became much harder. Then things got even stranger. From Shelly's mother, detectives learned that before Shelly died, she hadn't gotten the chance to tell Nathan she wanted to break up. That meant the rejected boyfriend motive was no longer solid. Even more importantly, when police reconstructed nearly every step Nathan took on the day of the murder, they concluded Nathan never went anywhere near where Shelly lived. He had a very strong alibi. That shattered the picture that had seemed so clear. So how could Shelly's blood be in Nathan's apartment? There was only one explanation. As we remember, Nathan didn't live alone. Right earlier, there had been a brief mention of Nathan's roommate, a man named Neil Williams. Once Nathan's alibi checked out, police focused on Neil. Detectives had spoken to Neil on the very day Shelly was killed, asking where he was when the murder happened. Neil said he was at Starbucks at first. Then he texted Ashley to ask if she wanted lunch.
I wanna texted Ashley if she wants to go eat lunch. From there, I went to White Rock Lake because I was supposed to take a picture, but I forgot to bring my camera for an assignment. And from there, I went to my friend's place.
And you forgot your camera, so you went to whose house?
Jessica Howard.
What time did you get there?
Around 12:30ish. But
Then he planned to meet a friend. However, when questioned again, Neil changed his story slightly. He added that between Starbucks and White Rock Lake, he also stopped at Walmart from 10:15 to 10:20.
I went to Walmart first, then White Rock Lake.
Okay, you can't leave that out. So you go straight from Starbucks to Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
How long, what did you do at Walmart?
I got a hair dye,
Okay.
soap,
What?
and gloves to color my hair.
Security camera footage confirmed he was at Walmart. Why did that matter? Because at Walmart, Neil bought blue rubber gloves, the same kind detectives believed the tiny blue rubber fragment at the crime scene came from. There was another important detail. In the first interview, Neil said that after White Rock Lake, he went to see his girlfriend. This time, he clarified where his girlfriend lived, and it turned out she lived in the very same apartment complex where Shelly was killed.
You get back in your car, where do you go?
I went to the falls to go to my friend's house, Jessica Howard.
How did you leave that part out?
Because I was mugged over there, sir.
You didn't tell me a damn thing about getting robbed. You know why? Because you didn't get robbed. But robbery never happened. So what you did, son, is put yourself right there at that complex when that little girl was killed. That's exactly what you did.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you did. You killed that girl. You took a knife and you stabbed her. I want to know why you did it.
I didn't do
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you killed that girl, man. You killed her. You stabbed her and you killed her.
I did not do anything.
Yes, you absolutely did. All I want to do is hear the truth. I know what the evidence is going to tell me.
The detective kept pushing. He pulled out crime scene photos and showed them to Neil Shelley's body covered in blood.
You remember looking like that? That's your handiwork. That's what she looked like when you finished with her. Look at her. Don't cover your face. Look at her. That's what you did to her. That's what you did to her. That's what Mom and Daddy had to look at. What do you think about that? Look at this. Look at it. Think about the last thing you heard that girl say before she took her last breath. You think about it. How can you live with yourself? Take your damn hand away from your eyes and look at me. Tell me how you treat a girl like that. Tell me how you do that.
Of course, there was one big question. If Neil killed Shelly, how did he get into the apartment? Detectives had an answer. Neil was friends with Ashley Shelley's roommate. Not long before the murder, Neil had borrowed Ashley's car, and Ashley gave him a set of keys that included both the car key and the key to the apartment where Shelly and Ashley lived. That meant Neil could have made a copy of the apartment key, and he would have known Shelly was home alone because Ashley was in class. Police also had printed copies of the text messages Neil sent Ashley on the day of the murder. That morning, Neil texted Ashley about 15 times, asking where she was. Ashley replied that she was in class. Detectives also learned something disturbing from Neil's past. He was older than most of the students, 26 years old. Before attending the institute, He had served in the Navy, but was discharged after telling a psychologist that he'd had thoughts about killing someone during his time in service. Piece by piece, the picture formed. On the day of the murder, Neil bought rubber gloves, similar to the ones linked to the fragment found near Shelly's body. He didn't have a strong alibi. He was in the exact apartment complex where Shelly was killed. He could have had access to a key, and the strongest evidence of all Shelly's blood was found in the apartment where Neil lived. Even so, one thing still seemed missing: motive. But then, investigators found it. The reason was that Neil was in love with Nathan. Yes, Neil was gay, and he had fallen for Nathan, his roommate, who was dating Shelly. Police learned this from Neil's best friend, and Nathan himself had suspected it. Neil was jealous of Shelly. He told Nathan that Shelly was causing his grades to slip, and that Shelly wasn't good enough for him. Neil and Shelly also argued often because of Nathan. Neil wanted Nathan to spend more time with him, while Nathan always wanted to be with Shelly. With that, everything clicked: the timeline, the evidence, and the motive. On November 10, 2009, Neil Williams was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The trial took place in November 2011. The defense strategy was to claim someone else was the killer, focusing mainly on Nathan, but it went nowhere. Police had surveillance video and teacher testimony showing Nathan was at school during the time Shelly was killed, giving him an airtight alibi. In the end, Neil Williams was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Ultimately, the truth still came into the light, even after sleepless nights, tangled statements, and countless details that seemed meaningless at first. Shelly can't come back, but her story reminds us of something. Life is more fragile than we think, and evil sometimes hides behind a very ordinary face. So treasure your passion. Treasure the people beside you while you still can. Don't dismiss your instincts. Don't stay silent when something feels wrong. And don't be afraid to seek help when your mind becomes too heavy. Jealousy, obsession, and uncontrolled emotion can destroy everything, but calmness, kindness, and the right choices can save a life. Slow down by one beat, love more clearly, and always protect your own safety.